Hello, I hope you're well and walking your beautiful awakening path. This is Paola, and this video is about coming out of lockdown and how this is actually a special and very exciting time for us all, because this time gives us a new opportunity, an opportunity that has never been presented to us before in this way, to truly awaken to who we really are, to the love that we are, and to start embodying this love, this essence, at a whole new level. We are being invited to start living in a totally new way, a way that is in line with our truth and purpose, which is truly what we came into this planet for. And the time is now, which is why this is exciting. And it is also a challenge, but there is a reason why this is a challenge. Some of the things I've noticed in the consciousness field and in many of my clients are almost a resistance to come out of lockdown and a sense of overwhelm when coming out of lockdown and facing the so-called real world with all its challenges. It's as if we have lost the ability to function in this world, and everything seems a bit too much. We don't feel good anymore in the so-called real world. And I say that this is actually good news. And the reason why this is good news is because the old ways of functioning in the world that we used to have before lockdown, or at least before we started our own personal awakening path, were not optimal anyway. And now we are ready to let them go completely and to embrace a totally new way of being. And the fact that we struggle to actually function in the world when we come out of lockdown is a sign that we are actually awakening. You see, the process of awakening consists really in letting go of the old ways of being, old operating systems which are mainly controlled by the ego mind, and embracing new ways of being that are more in line with our true self. They come from our essence, from our truth, from the love that we are. And this is what has been happening for us in our awakening process for the last few years. However long it has been for you personally, we have started our awakening process. And this process has actually been accelerated then by the whole pandemic and lockdown. We have been facilitated in our awakening because we have had opportunities to slow down and to reconsider our priorities, our choices, and the way we want to live in the world. Many of us also have had opportunities to develop our spiritual practices more deeply, to meditate, to spend time in nature, to reflect. And this has helped us immensely in our awakening process, because we have aligned more and more to our truth. And this also explains why some of us feel a bit of resistance in coming out of lockdown, because we really enjoy the awakening process and the slower pace of life and the whole growth process that we've been through. So sometimes the thought of coming out of that cocoon might feel a little bit uncomfortable. But on the other hand, for some of us, the pandemic has been an extremely hard and challenging time. And my heart goes out to you if this is the case for you. But yet that means that you are a brave soul who was ready to embrace some challenges during the lockdown and during the pandemic, including loss, grief, and pain, as a very powerful catalyst for healing, transformation, and personal awakening. So either way, we have all been facilitated in our awakening path in ways that have been perfect for each of us and our individual soul journey. And there is also a collective aspect too, because this huge wave of awakening has been happening in the collective as well, in the whole of humanity. And the wonderful thing is that we have been elevating our consciousness to higher levels and our vibration also to higher levels. And this is actually why we can no longer function in the world using old operating systems guided by the ego. Those are simply not compatible anymore with who we have become, or better, who we have grown into. So the reason why some of us are struggling with this new phase after the lockdown is because we are trying to force old ways of functioning into a totally new reality. And when we try to do so, then it is no wonder that we feel lost or overwhelmed. Those old ways are simply outdated because they're based on the ego and they're based on the consciousness of separation. And it is our inner guidance system that actually let us know that by making us feel bad when we try to function from the ego. So the fact that it feels bad is actually a sign that our inner guidance system is working perfectly for us, to guide us and to redirect us, to invite us to let go of the old ways and to embrace the new ways of being. It is not surprising, however, that some of us try to use the old ways to function in the world, especially after a time when we've been retreating from the world. Because the old ways are really the only ones we know, and that the only ones we have been using so far to function in the world. We don't have any other reference point. So now that we're opening back to the world, our ego mind, which is used to run the show, at least to a certain degree, gets activated because it is the only tool that we have used so far to function in the world. But that was a world that felt separate, unsafe, and certainly not filled with love. So we needed that ego mind to help us navigate that reality that felt really unsafe. And now our biggest challenge is also our biggest opportunity, because for the first time in our life, we are being facilitated, catalyzed, and invited to enter into the world in a totally new way, and to let go of the consciousness of separation and to install oneness instead, to live as the infinite spiritual beings that we truly are. And thanks to the cocoon of COVID, we have cultivated our spiritual essence for more than 1 year. And now we are being asked to embody our spiritual essence in a way and to such a degree that has never been asked from us before. This is our opportunity to start embodying our spirituality. So far, spirituality has mostly been considered separate from the matters of the world, from the matters of the body. In fact, if you look up the meaning of the word spirituality in a dictionary, it says that spirituality is the quality that involves deep feelings and beliefs of a religious nature rather than the physical parts of life. So even the dictionary supports this vision that spirituality is something separate from the world, from the physical. And yet, what if real spirituality was embodied? What if we were being called to live as spiritual beings, but in a body, in a planet, and in a way that involves our choices and our ways of living in this material world every day? This particular time is our opportunity to do exactly this, to start living from the awareness of who we truly are, to stop separating the matters of the spirit from the matters of the world. And what if everything was spirit anyway? What if matter was just an emanation of spirit? In other words, what if it was all love? And what if we were being called to be that love, to embody that love with every choice, with every word we say, with everyone we meet, and with every relationship we have, including relationships with plants, animals, things, nature, and the environment that we live in? And what if this was true embodied spirituality? And now it becomes clear that for this to happen, we have to leave the old ways behind, ways of living based on the ego and based on the consciousness of separation from love. Those ways cannot work for us anymore, and thank goodness that they can't. we are opening up into a totally new reality and a totally new way of being, where we are being called to embody oneness and love only, to operate from oneness and love, and to install oneness and love into the planet. And this new way of being is now truly possible. We have been prepared for that in utter perfection. And it is so exciting for us to be able to say yes to it and no to the old ways. It is our choice, and it is a beautiful choice, an essential and important choice. And this is why this phase is both a challenge but also an opportunity. And the only thing required of us is our awareness and our choice. The choice to say yes to the love that we are, to operate from that love, to honor that love, to embody that love, now more than ever before. So, will you say yes to this challenge and to this opportunity? And I do hope with all my heart that we can all say yes and embrace this opportunity and keep aligning more and more into who we truly are and our full potential. It is a beautiful journey and one that I wish for you too. And I'm sending you many blessings.